Some of you probably saw the headlines a few weeks back that Curt Cignetti, who has become a hot topic in the college football universe because he's propelled Indiana, a perennial doormat, into being the number 2 team in the entire country. Well, there was some thought that he may be pursued by the likes of Penn State because, Penn State's got deep pockets and they just fired James Franklin because he couldn't win the proverbial big game and get them over the hump to win a national title. Well, they're trying to find an option for that, and Curt Cignetti, with what he's done at Indiana, has completely flipped the script. Well, if you look at Curt Cignetti's run over the past season and now 2/3 at Indiana University, he has gone 19-2 in the last 21 games. So a guy who just went 19-2 over the past season and a half has now cashed into the tune of getting $93 million through November 30th, 2033. He's going to be paid at approximately $11.6 million annually by Indiana, and the deal is fully guaranteed. You know who else has gone 19-2 over the past season and change? Oh, yes. One Kalani Sitake. Now, I will also add this caveat. Kalani Sitake loves, and I mean Loves, capitalized, underlined, boldface font. He loves Brigham Young University. He has grown up his entire life being a fan of the university, playing for Lavelle Edwards, and working in his coaching career with the whole goal of becoming the head coach at BYU. I say all of that because this coaching carousel in the aftermath of Brian Kelly getting fired and being paid it's actually not the highest buyout ever because it was Jimbo Fisher at Texas A&M, but the second highest buyout ever at $54 million. I think the number was $169 million of being paid in buyouts by college football programs to coaches being fired already this season. That includes guys like Billy Napier at Florida, James Franklin at Penn State, etc., and obviously including now Brian Kelly at LSU. Those are premier jobs, and the guys who get those jobs are going to be paid a significant amount of money, and the boosters of said universities are going to be willing to foot some pretty hefty bills to pay the buyouts and obviously hire the next head coach. Why am I talking about all of this, and why am I involving Kalani Sitake in this conversation? Well, I'm just saying, there is a number out there that I think any of us probably have a number in our head. If somebody came to us in our job, whether it's me in sports media, you doing whatever you do in your day job, that they said, we'll give you this amount of money, you would say, thank you to your current employer and say, where do I sign? Let's do this thing. I'm not saying that Kalani Sitake is looking to leave BYU, but BYU better be ready to back up the Brinks truck to make sure that he is comfortable at BYU. Do I believe that BYU is going to be willing to fork over north of $10 million for their head coach? I don't know, but I'm telling you, at the level that Kalani Sitake is winning at right now, that's the going rate, everybody. I think Kalani would absolutely take less to be happy, comfortable, and doing what he's doing at BYU because, as I said, he loves what he's doing at Brigham Young University. But, man, money talks, and it talks in a big way. Could some program out there, I'm not saying that LSU is going to do it. I'm not saying that Florida is going to do it. I'm not saying that Penn State's going to do it. Could a program like a UCLA get some booster who has got just incredibly deep pockets say, we want Kalani Sitake, hand him a blank check and tell him to name his price? That, in theory, could be the case. But the nice part is on BYU side of things is BYU's got boosters, and I'm talking boosters plural, that are very capable of matching, if not outdoing, a lot of the booster groups around this country. I think that's kind of the unwritten thing about BYU right now, and it's becoming more and more a conversation, it feels like, as time goes along. The BYU's booster base and the tech million and billionaires that have come out of Brigham Young University that want to turn around and have helped BYU and want to continue to help the BYU athletic department, in particular football and basketball, speaking of men's basketball, to become premier programs. Because if you missed it, BYU is the only program in the only athletics program in the entire country right now that has its football and men's basketball teams ranked inside the top 10 in the AP polls. Pretty remarkable what BYU is doing right now. And you can guarantee that there are athletic directors, university presidents, and boosters/booster groups out there nationally that are looking at Provo, Utah and saying, how do we get ourselves some of that? I don't think Kalani Sitake is looking to leave BYU. Let me be very clear. I'm not reporting that Kalani Sitake has got wandering eyes, but UCLA has already been mentioned as a place for him to potentially land this offseason. I'm going to guarantee that there are going to be other jobs as a result of this coaching carousel starting to spin. They're going to take jobs at other universities that open up positions that the conversation will inevitably turn to say, hey, is Kalani Sitake happy being in Provo, Utah? Does he want to try something new? He spent a decade in Provo. Maybe he wants his next challenge. Those conversations have already taken place, as I mentioned, with the UCLA Bruins, and they will only continue throughout this upcoming coaching carousel. This carousel, the way it's going to spin, it feels like could be one for the ages. We're talking hundreds of millions of dollars could change hands in terms of contracts being signed between buyouts, obviously guys leaving for new jobs, and the whole other side of it with regards to finding new coaches and getting them installed in these programs. It spins every year, but this one in particular, with how much money has been already doled out and the premier jobs that are open, just be aware that Kalani Sitake's name is going to be invoked a lot in terms of potential guys who could land at other programs. But I will also reiterate the fact that I believe that BYU's booster base, its university leadership, and everybody involved is going to do their absolute darndest to make sure that Kalani Sitake feels the love and that he is comfortable and well taken care of in Provo, Utah, and he's going to continue as BYU's head coach. You do not cast aside the success that he has had, in particular, these past 2 seasons. He has started 8-0 in 2 seasons in a row. It's never happened in program history. In fact, starting 8-0, I think, is 5 total times in BYU football history. We are watching some of the best football success literally ever in BYU history. Why would you want to go and screw that up? And I'm talking from Kalani Sitake's side of thing, and I'm also talking about from the university side of thing, as well as boosters. The conversations are going to come up. There are going to be people who I said are going to invoke Kalani Sitake's name, but I have got mad respect for BYU's boosters who have already shown their willingness to fork over hefty money to help BYU become a force in NIL, to help them build what they've done in terms of the Built for Life stuff that they've done in terms of off the field, making sure that the $20.5 million revenue share has been fully funded. They have footed the bill time and time again. And they very well may have to foot the bill once again to make sure that BYU's head man, he may not want $93 million like Curt Cignetti, but I'm telling you, he deserves much more than he's getting right now. I'll just say that. I don't know what the number is going to be. I don't think it'll be $11 million. I'm sure he'd like $11 million, but I know that Kalani Sitake loves and respects BYU enough to say, hey, I know what we're trying to do here. Here's what I need, and I'm yours for life. That's what I hope the conversation comes to, and I hope that everybody involved makes sure it gets done, because you do not, I reiterate, you do not want to see Kalani Sitake walk out that door, because he's absolutely built a Leviathan with BYU football, and you cannot let that leave at this juncture.